Yo, what's up, YouTube? Another one for me little video journal thing. In fact, funnily enough, I should, what's the word? Make memos to myself on here too, because I've been taking some advice from Jim Rohn in recent weeks. I wouldn't say months, maybe a month and a half, something like that. I've only came across the dude about a month and a half ago, basically. So yeah, one of the things he says is to keep a journal. And since this is my video journal and just documenting stuff in my life, maybe I could do it here, I don't know. But I was thinking physical journal, you know, one that you write stuff down in. So yeah, anyway, cut the rubbish and get to the point. So basically, well, I started it with no point, but you know, just a bit of an update, really. I was in family court last week, and touch wood, it's very early days, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to see my little girl very soon, hopefully. And yeah, as long as the wind goes my way, hopefully. Not my way, but you know what I mean, so I can see her. And basically, so prior to that, I'd actually stopped using cannabis for 3 months. I'd stopped using it shortly after my daughter was born. Having a little girl basically totally changed my outlook on life. I would say I've always, I've seen negative stuff in life, but in my life I try to have a positive outlook anyway. But basically, some about the magic of holding your baby for the first time, and in my case, my little girl, when I held her in the I forget what they call the name of the ward, maternity ward. When I held her, she opened her eyes for the first time and looked directly into my eyes, and it was the most beautiful moment I've ever experienced. It beats any substance I've ever dabbled in growing up. It beats any feelings of like love for like another human being, you know, like the other kind of love. Obviously, you've got love for your family and love for other people, you know. It beats anything, basically, you know, that feeling. And so from the moment that I held my little girl, I knew that I needed to change my life in many, many ways, not just substances, but substances have held me back for a lot of years, especially using cannabis. I used to really struggle to give up cannabis. I've had other problems when I was younger, and always managed to kick the habit, you know, whereas in cannabis just had a hold of me. So yeah, anyway, basically, I'd done 3 months, and my ex-partner, for crazy reasons, basically decided to stop me from seeing my little girl. Didn't really have a reason, really, to be quite honest, you know. So yeah, so I've had to go to a family court. When it first happened, it made me relapse for about a month and a half, roughly. And when I basically, you know, started the ball rolling, I thought, right, I've really got to sort my own act out here, because if I want to be a role model to my little girl, you know, it's all well and good, you know, going to family court and doing your thing and everything, but like, you've got to work on yourself too. Now, there's still areas I need to work on. I'm still a rubbish cook. And, you know, I basically wasn't happy about the way my daughter's been looked after, and just many things that are too deep to go into because my court cases are ongoing. But like one of the smaller issues were the fact that my ex doesn't cook properly and just gets takeaways all the time for the kids and things like that. And basically, I mean, as an example, my mum witnessed this too. I've gone round and she's just slapped frozen garden peas down for my daughter to eat on the high chair, and she never used to clean like her stuff either, you know, which obviously I'm a first time dad, so, you know, I'm wanting the best for my child. I'm not wanting just dragging up, do you know what I mean? But anyway, I'm trying not to get too much into my case because, like I say, it's an ongoing case. But sometimes I just feel like I need to speak, and, you know, it's very difficult, basically. A lot of things had happened, much darker stuff has happened, in fact, as well, at my ex's house, and it's another reason why I really need to step up and be a role model, because I just know that I need to be there for my little girl, basically. She's, you know, absolutely adorable, and I couldn't ask for a more beautiful little girl, you know. So anyway, I've been listening to Jim Rohn, and it's really helping me with my own self-focus and sorting me out, you know. I wish I'd have come across the guy when I was young, and I'd probably been a millionaire by now. But basically, I'm 39, so I've probably missed that part. But if you check the guy out, you'll realise that it's never really too late at the same time. Not that I'm bothered about being rich financially. To me, for example, time and health are far more important than money, basically. I mean, money's nice to have. It's a necessity in a capitalist world. But to me, your health and your time is much more important. So yeah, basically, I've lost track, to be honest, on how long I've gone without cannabis. Quite a long time now. Been several months, if you total up. You know, well, it's been several months this side of my relapse, but it's been nearly a year if you know, go the other side of my relapse. You know, like I said, I did relapse, and because I relapsed, I've put myself into like what they call a relapse prevention group, which are really good. So yeah, big shout outs to them. It's Way Through and Horizons that it's through, and they really helped me out with my, you know, when I went to my first hearing at court, they'd written me a report actually on how I'm getting on, because I did a substance test for them, you know, because basically I weren't sure, you know, as far as I knew, they were going to be testing us at court, not just me, my ex as well, you know, which I were all fox. I knew I were clean, you know, and so anyway, I like going over bits of my case with a bloke called Joe from my group, and huge shout outs, man, because big respect for your what do they call it, your report on me, because they read it out in court, and the judge actually told me, you know, well done, and that they were proud of how I'm getting on and everything, you know, which is fair enough, because I'm proud of myself for it. Like I say, I mean, cannabis has been a big problem in my life, basically. It's held me back with so much stuff. It's made me miss out on life as well, loads of things. And just basically, my next step is to give up nicotine, because if it wasn't for cannabis, I wouldn't have ever smoked nicotine. Basically, it's cannabis that got me smoking it, and I've now got quite a heavy nicotine habit. I'd say I easily excess 40 cigs a day on an average day, possibly more than that. Because what it is when I used to use cannabis, I didn't really pay attention, keep track of what I smoked then. And at one stage in my life, I gave up on working with society. What I mean by working with society is the whole 9 to 5 thing. I just saw it at one stage. I saw it as irrelevant. Like I basically went into my own little shell and my own little world, and I just gave up keeping track of dates and times. And because I did that, I struggle with it now, basically. The term dateless, basically. I'm dateless, Although I have been keeping track of it a lot more lately. There's cons to all this too. Before I gave up using cannabis, we're making a lot more music. My music's not really been coming out lately, my fan base on my music page and everything has been dropping like not that I had a massive one, but it's dropped. I think I'd got it up to, last I checked, when I was on doing good with music, I was getting like 50 regular people coming back to my channel every month. And I can't remember how many plays I was getting, but regulars, I'm talking about people that come back to your YouTube channel. And I was getting 50, and now it's down to about 20 now. so I need to get on the music, but I've just been lacking inspiration lately because of not just giving up cannabis, but because I'm going to court and I've got so much stuff going on. On top of that, I've noticed, in my character at least, that when I'm not using cannabis, I'm a lot more practical, and I tend to get like general jobs done. Like I've been doing like electric work for my mum, around the house, fixing electrical problems, fixing plumbing problems, things like that. Wood, making stuff, woodwork and stuff for her. Made like a shed roof and things like that. Loads of stuff like practical, but tend to not really get cracking with music. I'd made a start on fixing, because I've got a couple of cars I need to fix. So I pulled all my dashboard out of my car and everything, and I just, to be honest, I didn't get a chance to finish it. It's ended up sort of sat a little bit because I had my court hearing up and coming, and it's a absolute bugger of a job, to be quite honest. It's doing my head in, but I knew it were, like before I'd given up cannabis, I was putting the job on, because I knew how big of a job it was. The type of car it is, I've taken the dashboard out before, and I know how much of a pain in the butt it is. Basically, my heater matrix needs all sorting, and my clocks need sorting. So I thought, I'll do it. So anyway, the dash is out. Last I will do it, and I'm going to get back on it now. Now that I've got that first court hearing out of the way, I've got a little bit of. I want to get certain bits of evidence organised just in case I need it for court. I'm hoping I won't, because the judge was saying to me that if everyone's in agreement, then hopefully we can wrap it up next hearing. Now, technically, it sort of I needed to expose certain things, but I was happy to, if we can get an agreement, then basically I'm happy to wrap it up. Plainly because I haven't seen my little girl since February this year, sorry. But by the time I get back into court for next hearing, it's going to be like February of next year. So that'll be a year basically. And my little girl is only 2 in December, you know. So I miss her dearly. And what do you call it? Like I say, personally, I'm not trying to come across as like a weirdo or anything, but I don't feel I've done anything wrong to deserve not seeing my little girl. And not only that, she surely hasn't done anything wrong to not deserve to see her dad. Do you know what I mean? So, basically, hopefully get that sorted. Just depends on what my crazy ex decides to do. But, she didn't even show up for court. She hadn't responded to... when I tried mediation, she were messing all that around. She lied to police, you name it, so much stuff has gone on, but yeah, basically, trying not to go, like I said, too much into it, but I do want to document this stuff, and this channel basically is, I initially made it just in case I didn't get the chance to see my little girl in my lifetime or something. I've got a couple of unlisted videos that are for Millie to see, and basically, not that I want her to see them as such, I don't want to be like, oh, here's all my crap to listen to, but it's so that she can get her dad's side of the story on all that stuff, and basically, so yeah, that's how I started this channel initially, and I'd started it quite late on. I should have started it straight away, but my brain were just struggling to cope with this stuff. I've never been through a access battle before, and it shouldn't have even come to an access battle. Basically, it should have just been like both parents should have been grown up about this whole situation. Whether we agree with each other or not, basically, we should have, but how do I explain it? Because like I said, I'm trying not to delve into it. I'll just leave that because, I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, my next stop is stopping smoking cigs. I did try. What day are we on? Sunday. On last Thursday. It's now November 9th, so I don't know, like I said, I'm not the best with dates, but you can work that one out. So yeah, basically, that's knocked me off. I did most, like, I think half a day, roughly. Well, it depends, because half a day is technically 12 hours, innit? Probably about 6 hours tops, maybe 4, without nicotine, and I just ended up caving, basically. I tried to do, like I say, I smoke at least 40 a day at a minimum, and I just tried to go cold turkey, and then I had to drive and then go into a meeting, and by the time I got out of the meeting, I was dying for a cig, and when I'm not smoking cigs, I've been chewing these licorice sticks, and a little bit of nicotine gum I had that day. I tend to sort of get on the vape a little bit, 'cause there's always hype, don't get on the vape if you want to stop smoking, but personally I don't mind the vape, to me it's, I don't care what the rep is, I think they're a lot better than the cigs, taste nicer, everything about them's loads better. And I know that I won't need the vape long term. Like I'm not swapping one for the other. I see vapes very differently. Do you remember the nicotine inhalators that you used to get? That's the way I treat my vape. I've never used like the vape and smoked at the same time, because for me I see it as a tool to get off the six basically. So, and I always have looked at vapes that way. Yeah, so trying to think if there's a lot I want to say before I wrap up. Been getting really into astronomy lately. Over my lifetime, I've seen some pretty wild stuff. I once saw what I believed were a shooting star. This were a few years ago now. What I believed were a shooting star, directly above my head. And when I looked up, I was like, wow, that's, just about to think that's a beautiful shooting star. And it stopped dead and just went ping. And it looked like it went out of a different galaxy, off to a different galaxy, sort of thing, out of our atmosphere anyway. And it was so fast how it did it. On top of that, I've seen other mad stuff in the sky in the past and different weird aircrafty stuff. Some could be explained for like human things and others like that. For example, I don't have a clue. I've seen meteor showers. I've seen the space station. Loads of interesting stuff when I stargaze basically, and I tend to like make little wishes when I'm looking at the sky. But always kind of seeing it as some kind of force that helps with things, yeah, that which reminds me. So yeah, I've been getting into astronomy as well. When I went to court last week, it would have been. I think it was last week. Basically, I got there too early, so I had an hour to kill when I got to court, or half an hour, something like that. And I went for a bit of a walk around the town because I know the town quite well where the court is at. And what do you call it? Walked up and down the high street, reminisced a little bit, 'cause there were like some shops that I'd forgotten that I'd worked at and things like that. And basically, I noticed there were a tea morning, like in the local church. I haven't been to church in years, like years, I think the last time, in fact, it was the same church. I went there for my one of my best friends' weddings, and that would have been. I remember saying to this woman who were doing an art exhibition in there. She asked me if I'd been there, and I was like, oh, long time ago, probably 10, 12 years ago. So it's the longest. It's bad in it because really, I mean, some people go to church every week. And I haven't been to church for 12 years, or something like that. And I went into church and I had a coffee. And funnily enough, I bumped into an old friend whilst I was in church, which were quite nice to see. It was someone who I'd lost track of over years, and this kid's a bit younger than me. We're like, I'm 39 now. He's probably like in his 30s now. I'd say so, about a 10-year gap, and I kind of took him under my wing when I lived in that town, and it was nice to bump into him basically. So we had a bit of a catch up and exchanged numbers and everything, and just as I was leaving, I went and said a little prayer because, how do I explain? Although I might not go to church often, and I don't really know what God is as such. I know that there's a higher power of sorts than us. Something that created everything. My dad's very scientific. So he'd probably argue the other end of the stick and say, Big Bang and whatnot and blah de blah. But basically, I just don't know. I'm quite superstitious, and basically, I'm righteous. I like to think I'm righteous in my life, and so I went and said a little prayer. Obviously, knowing that I was going into court, not saying that's the only reason I'd prayed, because I believe you have to be sincere when you pray. You have to be sincere in life anyway. But so I prayed for my situation that day, and I also prayed for a few other things, and just kind of really praying mainly for life and good health, my family, and and just the well-being and things of just an appreciation as well. Appreciation for my life and being here, and loads of reasons. And I mean, touch wood, I really do think that my prayer were answered that day. Now, how long it lasts, I hope it keeps going. But basically, I mean, that's making me think maybe I should start going to church and things, more regular is what I mean. But basically, my prayer was definitely answered that day, because when I went in a family court, I represented myself, and I was nervous. I was really nervous, and as I said, my ex didn't show up. A solicitor did, but she didn't, and basically had a little chat with her solicitor before going in and everything, 'cause they came up to ask me a few things, and I were expecting like some really nasty solicitor or something, and I were expecting my ex to be there with a happy face on. And basically, basically the fact that she didn't turn up really helped me just to basically focus without it turning into a he said she said. And it's a good thing really, because her solicitor didn't want it to turn into that either. And I know that had my ex been there, that's exactly what would have happened. And like I say, if it doesn't turn into he said she said, little tip for dads in family court here, if you can go through the family court without it turning into a he said she said situation, it'll get wrapped up a lot quicker, as far as what I'm being told by the courts. Once it turns into a he said she said, that's when it drags on for years basically. And like I say, there's lots of things that I could say about my ex, but there's lots of things that any couple can say about their exes, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, some real dark stuff has happened, but that is my personal thing with my ex to sort out. Well, although that's what led to family court, but basically, what I'm saying is that stuff is what you need to sort of discuss between couples or ex-couples, whatever you want to call it, people that have been together and fallen out, So yeah, a little tip there for any dads going to the family court. The best thing you can do is try and avoid the he said, she said bullshit, because it's just going to drag your case on. Yeah, you might win, because I feel like if it went to that, I'd be quite confident because I've grinned and bared a lot of stuff in this relationship basically, and I've been just myself and tried to be fair basically. But like certain people can't handle that, and I'd like to say that in my case, my ex is definitely one of those people, you know. And yeah, I mean, sure, of course, I'm not perfect. You know, she has her allegations against me. The difference is I know that a lot of it is nonsense, you know, but that's my personal thing, you know. The world doesn't need to believe me on that, you know. I feel as if I've tried to be right the whole time, but I've tried to be firm the whole time. Like, you know, if I've seen things that I don't agree with, I've raised my concerns. The trouble is sometimes people don't see their own mistakes, and this could even include me, by the way. Um, and that's when stuff tends to lead to arguments, basically. You know, so yeah, trying not to, like I say, I'm trying not to go too far into it. I sound like I'm saying stuff coded almost, but I'm just trying to get get stuff off of my chest, um, without delving too deep into problems. Um, Plus, I hate people that talk rubbish about others. So, you know, I'm trying to just be reasonable, I guess, and say my stuff from this point of view. At the end of the day, in a family court situation, it's your children that are the most important thing, and rightly so. They should be the most important thing in your relationship too. Don't get me wrong, you need to love your other partner when you're in a relationship, but once you have kids, you know, the kids come before both of you. Does that make sense? Like for example, if you've got differences, you need to think of the kids. You know, you can't. These people that argue in front of kids and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you know, you need to not do that stuff. Basically, when I was young, I grew up without my father being there. My parents broke up when I was 6, and I mean, I've broken up with my daughter's girlfriend before she were even 2. You know, she was like 1, and in fact, she weren't even 1 when we broke up. We broke up shortly after she was born, and we kept it amicable for as long as we could keep it amicable, really. But yeah, you just basically don't. Last thing you want to be doing is arguing in front of kids, because they'll remember it. Trust me, they'll remember it. And never shut the other parent out of the kid's life, even if you don't agree at all with the other partner. You know, if you feel they're making allegations, or if you think you know, they're totally in the wrong, never shut them out unless they're totally twisted. You know what I mean? That's a different story. But like generally speaking, the average person that's just try to do the best for the kids, especially, don't go shutting them out. That's crazy person stuff. Another tip I'd say for all couples is when you are having issues in your relationship, always try to look in the mirror, which is something I try to do myself. Not try to say I'm perfect, but like I've questioned myself multiple times. You know, especially in this relationship, is it me that's at fault? Is it this? Is it that? You know, I mean, like I say, I'm a first-time dad, so a lot of the time I'm like, you know, am I too overprotective? all that stuff. You know, you have to ask yourself the questions in order to see the bigger picture. And sometimes you still might not be able to see. You may need a third party to sort of tell both of you. You know, I feel that sometimes a third party can help. So that's why courts do mediation, for example. Like, but I think a family member or something is your better option, because then it's not going through the court system. It'll nip it in the, hopefully nip it in the bud before that. And I think that, yeah, third party could sometimes help with that stuff. I'm not Mr. Relationship, believe me. I've had good and bad relationships, but like, you know, I'm not the best, especially when it comes to like pulling and things. You know, when I'm, you know, what's the word, when you get these dudes that can just like pull all the birds, and that. I've never been one of them. But what I have done is, when I get into a relationship, I try to be fair. For example, like, you know, I'll always try and see things from both angles. Like, but I'm like that with my friends too. Like, if friends are acting up or anything like that, I try to see like, what am I doing wrong? What are they doing wrong? Do you know what I mean? And I think that if more people could do that, people would fall out less. That's for sure. Can't believe I've been recording for 35 minutes. Just having a proper ramble at you. But basically, yeah, keep safe, and one love, YouTube. Huge love to my family and my daughter. That reminds me, I already had one niece. I've now got another niece. So, you know, my little sister's had her second child. It was a while ago now. She's like 3 months, something like that. But just popped into my head because I saw her the other day and stuff. And I try to see my nieces all the time, actually. In fact, I know my nieces more than I know my daughter, which is terrible, isn't it? You know, but that's just the way things have panned out. So yeah, basically, even Mia is sending love to my daughter too. So, so my daughter is Millie Rose, and her cousin is Mia Rosa, her new cousin. So yeah, it's pretty a mad one, especially when they're older. My mum keeps on calling her Maya, which is quite funny. But yeah, we all miss you, Millie, and this is just part of the journal. And anybody that happens to see in between, please like and subscribe if you're interested in just my general life stuff. And I'm going to try and make it so it's not all banging on about my situation right now, but like I say, the whole channel is set up to be a bit of a video log and a video diary. So, you know, I'll be putting all sorts of stuff on it, and I've got old memories that need adding. I think I added a few quite recently, but because of them being old, the quality of the cameras and stuff ain't that great. But I just wanted to put certain things up so I don't lose the memories, because I've lost too many memories anyway, especially in my younger years, because I never used to be into taking photos or any of that kind of stuff, you know. So yeah, one love, peace. Mwah.